You see this plant? The one from the thumbnail? I've actually grown it myself from seed, and I didn't start my self-improvement journey with this seed, but looking back, I really wish I did, and here's why. I think everybody on self-improvement should buy a plant, because as your plants grow, so do you. Both plants and self-improvement are concepts of growth that are very slow and steady, that take a lot of time. And also, if you think about it, especially these plants right here, let me show you. These are pine trees, so they are trees, and trees are plants that grow very, very slowly. And I've only realized that after, buying this bonsai set that I have. As someone who struggles a lot with, being impatient, these trees force me to be very patient because, they grow very slowly. Patience is key. Everybody knows that patience is one of the most important virtues, if not the most important virtue, in self-improvement in general. Because a lot of things you do, you're putting in a lot of hard work. And the problem probably all of you have, and I have it as well a lot of times, is that you do all this work, but it feels pretty unrewarding because the results don't show as fast as you'd like. And patience basically teaches you to, to not always wait for the results, but just, know that it's going to take time and the results are going to come, but you just don't know when. So it makes the process of, working hard and waiting for that just a lot more feasible. A few months ago, I finished school, so I pretty much have nothing to do right now. I have a lot of free time, and for many people, for many watching, this probably sounds like the dream, but in reality, it's actually not that great because I have pretty much no responsibilities. And some people might say that having no responsibilities is amazing because you can do whatever you want, but in reality, having no responsibility also means sort of like not really having a purpose or routine. So it's really hard to, stay productive and stay doing things you like, but also, you know, doing things that, that mean something to you, that satisfy you in a greater sense. So taking care or having to take care of these plants, which by the way, I have, I think like over 10 plants right now. You can see one back here as well. Just having to take care of them every day just gives me a sense of purpose and also routine, which I know that, having to take care of these plants, just watering them every couple days is not, it doesn't sound like much, but it actually, it's just it's a constant in your life that's going to help you a lot. Because if every day is very different and you can always, choose what to do, you have no idea, no steady things that you always do, life gets very difficult. So having these plans helped me a lot with, having this sense of purpose and, always knowing that tomorrow when I wake up, I have to do this one thing. Also, as someone who struggled a lot with just happiness in general, or the, not really, I don't really grasp the concept of happiness sometimes. It's very, I think about it quite a lot, and it's hard to, just be happy, as simple as it really should be. But, having these plans, it helped me a lot, just finding happiness in the little things, just observing the plants, and, sometimes I just sit there and look at them for like 5 or 10 minutes, and I just can't help but smile. It just brings me a a sense of peace and joy. And I think it's very similar to mindfulness in general. Just mindfulness is probably, as just being very observant of your feelings or your surroundings and all that. For example, if you go for a walk, just looking at the trees and observing every part of that. And I think it's pretty much that. So mindfulness, I think it's a very underrated thing. And these plants sort of help me do that more without really, thinking about it. It just happened. I think we can all agree that consistency is probably the most important thing if you want to improve in any aspect of your life. Plants teach you exactly that. The reason being is that if you're gonna fuck up a few times, they're gonna die. So you know when you fucked up 100%. You have to, water them or care for them, look out for pests, mildew, or whatever, every day. And if you don't do it, they're dead. So having these plans helped me, with this consistency a lot, because before that, when I was younger, my mom usually bought me a plant like every 1 or 2 years, and it would just die off because I was just a horribly lazy person. I didn't really care for for anything. But now it helped me a lot with consistency in general, just because I know that if I'm not consistent, it's gonna show, and it made me more aware of that problem. I really recommend you all to start with a seed and not a finished plant. Like for example, this one I have here in the back. I wouldn't start with this one, and the reason being is that I feel like it's about the journey, not the outcome, especially with plants, because there isn't really an outcome. There isn't really an end, except, if you forget to water it and it dies. But, they just keep growing and growing and getting bigger, and it's a journey. And I think that's how life should be looked at as well. You shouldn't be looking at, of course you should have goals, but these goals shouldn't be, for example, I do this and then I'll be happy. Because life doesn't work like that. You should strive toward things, towards greater things, towards things you probably can't achieve, and then have goals in between them. And that's pretty much how it works with these plants. And also, having to care for a seed or a seedling means more responsibility and more care, and you need to be more careful. So I think that's gonna, also help you a lot with this responsibility. And once you started having this one plant and you've cared for it, it's grown quite a bit. I wanted to get more plants. And I know that sounds a bit dumb, like why would you do that? But like as you get more plants, you handle more responsibility. Just like in life, because in life, the older you get, right now, if you're about my age, you probably don't really have any responsibilities. But as you get older, when you have a wife, when you have kids, when you have a job, you get so many more responsibilities. So I feel like this is very parallel to life in general. So having to care for more plants, sort of, metaphorically speaking, helps you achieve that maybe. And also, by the way, most people's room looks pretty boring, I'd say. So just having, all these plants in your room makes it look just a lot better. For yourself, which, by the way, keeping a clean room and having a room that looks nice, that you think looks really good, is gonna help you so much with productivity. I've only, realized this like recently, and it's already changed a lot for me. Just having a desk that's clean, that is tidied up. All of that. I'm still in the midst of cleaning up my room a bit, but having these plans and it's, for example, this back here. As you can see, this plant back here, it makes it look so much better. It's just, I don't know, it just makes it just. And what the fuck am I saying, man? Okay, what I was trying to say is that the better your room looks, or the more you like what you're looking at, it brings you peace and joy, and it also just makes you more happy just in general. And also, I think gardening in general. So you don't have to do it in your room. You can do it outside in your garden. I just do it in my room because I don't have a garden, but the peacefulness and satisfaction you get from, caring for these organisms, for these plants, is just amazing. Um, and it helped me, improve my mental health so much, because these plants, they're of course simpler than human beings, but they're also quite complicated. So, caring for them, watching them grow and all that just made me feel, like I did something in the world, you know? It's probably like, especially nowadays with so many humans being on Earth, I feel like most people probably feel quite insignificant at times. And growing your own garden might give you this significance that you're lacking right now. Also, maybe your mom does the same thing, but my mom always, grows vegetables. And I think the idea of, growing vegetables and fruits and all that by yourself, in your own garden or in your home, I think that's the great thing. Like going more backwards towards the, earlier days where people used to grow their own things, because nowadays, like, food process is crazy. Like, processed food is just horrible for you. So if you, can manage to grow more food by yourself, for yourself or your family, that's great. I've actually always thought about, in the future someday just getting a hunter's license, so I can just, move to a cabin somewhere, or buy some woodland and just go hunt there and like eat my deer or whatever that I hunt. I think these, like eating what you shot or what you've grown yourself is this. It's really a great thing, and also, by the way, it just tastes so much better. Like, really, it does. I want to wrap up this video with the idea that, a plant's growth from very simple seed, it's just this one tiny thing, just this tiny thing, and then it grows towards something, like this. It had like 4 leaves, stem, or something like this, right, with many leaves, and then, picture like these things I just showed you. In like a few years, they will be so much more complicated. They will have a big stem and all these, all these leaves. So this plant's growth from a simple seed to a very complex organism, it perfectly mirrors, human life. Because life is a journey towards complexity. You've probably realized this a lot, or I've definitely did. When I started getting through puberty and started getting older, I more and more realized how complex and difficult and just complicated life is. And plants are very parallel to that. It starts out quite simple. When you're a young kid, you don't really have anything to worry about. You get sad when you hurt yourself, when you fall, or when this one kid doesn't want to play with you. And then as you get older, you start wondering, like, why are we on this planet? Why do we live here? Why do humans exist? Does God exist? What is God? And you start wondering all these things, and also your relationships get much more complicated and all that. And at the same time, the journey towards complexity is beautiful. I know that life being so complicated, for many of you, and me as well, sometimes it's really hard for us, but, we should be grateful that we're able to, to not only manage that complexity, but that human beings are these incredibly, high performing beings that are like the most intelligent things that we've ever come across, and that we have so many things that we can achieve. We have such a crazy ability to think about complicated things, to, achieve things, to solve problems, to cure illnesses. We've done so many great things. So I think you shouldn't be afraid of this complexity. You should be, looking forward to, growing up, getting older, and getting to know more, learning more about life. and also maybe teaching younger people about this complexity of life. And I think that's a beautiful journey that we should all be proud of, being a part of, being human. I think that's something really amazing. So, if you watched this far and you have not considered buying a plant there, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you. Just buy a plant, buy some seeds, plant them, and trust me, you'll see yourself. It's gonna help you like a ton. You're gonna be grateful for that. And if you've, bought this plant, grown it, then you can come back and subscribe. With that said, take care.